All right, y'all, we're back. We had to take a little break. School got busy. I went hunting for 2 weeks.
Football.
Yeah, we football BYU football games. Let's go. I mean, we lost one, but that's okay. We're still
Yeah.
9-1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 9-1. But long story short, life happens, but elections still go on, wars, chaos. So let's talk about it and break down what's actually been going on in the world.
Yeah, let's go.
Where we've been, like we said, have just been kind of crazy, and we had to kind of take a step back from really just everything going on. I feel like I was still keeping up to date on things, but I was just like, I can't voice an opinion right now. I just gotta focus on my life. I just kind of wanted to bring it back to why we started this podcast. After the being at the Charlie Kirk event, it ignited a fire within me, within us, just to get our voices out and have let Gen Z have a voice, but not just Gen Z, like the Latter Day Saint
Yeah.
Gen Z. I feel like in politics as members, it's kind of some people shame upon it or frown upon talking about politics, but I feel like it's something that needs to be talked about, especially as members and for what we stand for.
Yeah, that's true. It's important that we, as the future of America and the future of the church, are able to have our voice heard and um, hear others' opinions. So, yeah, that's kind of the reason why we did this, is to make sure that we keep that standard of keeping our voices heard and sharing opinions, and as Latter-day Saints, being intact with politics. As what you said, it is important to how we live our life and how we worship in some aspects. So
Yeah, and we gotta make sure that we are as Latter Day Saints, just voicing our opinion of what we believe and what we stand for. And I think that's very important, especially with all the current events going on. There's a lot of stuff that's happened in the past few months. I mean,
yeah,
like I said, elections. We had a socialist mayor get elected
yeah,
in New York. I mean, crazy stuff.
government shutdown.
Government shutdown happened too. What else has happened? I mean, most recently, the Epstein files are
Yeah,
supposed to be getting released. Hopefully, I mean, we'll see what happens, but I mean, pray
yeah.
they get
Hopefully, everything
released.
gets revealed.
Yeah, and the darkness comes to light.
Hmm.
And so I didn't want to start it with the election. I mean, what do you think about the socialist mayor? What's his name?
Zamdani, some
Zamdani.
Muslim type name.
I don't know his
Well,
name.
yeah,
Yeah,
we'll put it up or something.
but yeah, so he got elected to be mayor. He is a socialist, like outright
Yeah.
socialist. I mean, what do you think? What does America come to at that point?
Well, I just think it's funny how he's promising free transportation, free this, free that, but where is he going to get that money from? People are. I've never been to New York, but I heard there's a lot of homeless people and quite a bit of poverty. And so that, with the fact that a lot of richer people are wanting to leave now, it's, yeah, I don't know where he's going to get that money from.
Yeah. And it's like I feel like there's a lot of empty campaign promises. Like there's this video of him. He's like, "Yeah, guys, like you don't need to donate. Like, stop donating.
Yeah.
We don't need it." Because he's like more socialist, right? And then like I think right after he got elected, he's like, "Guys, actually, we need donations. Like, keep donating."
Remember how I told you a few months ago to stop sending us money? You can start again. This transition requires staff, research, and an infrastructure that can meet this moment. and it will be made possible by the people who built and believe in this movement. So I hope you'll make a donation at transition2025.com. Now let's get to work.
Honestly, if they're gonna elect a socialist, they should have elected Bernie Sanders. He's
Yeah.
funny. He's funny.
Well, Andy's looks so old.
Yeah.
I'm once again asking for your
Yeah.
I am once again asking for your financial support.
So funny, bro. I think like them getting elected, because I think it was more than he was just like the big name because it was New York, but I think like there was more socialists that got elected, which honestly they ran in liberal, areas. They won in liberal areas.
Yeah, makes.
I mean, it makes sense why they won, but still, like getting so far to the left that you
yeah,
like
it's
elect a socialist mayor. I mean, what impact do you think that's going to have on society?
well, just the fact that New York, as much as I don't like it, is still the most populated city in the country, and I would say the forefront or the facade of what America is. I mean, we went on our missions, and the first people asked is, "Oh, have you been to New York?" Or "I've seen movies, and New York looks super cool." And so the fact that the leading city in the United States is socialist kind of reflects what America is turning into, and I believe that New York's the start of this um, devastating shift to the left, but it's gonna spread. I feel.
Yeah, I feel like this needs to be a wake up call for conservatives and for, people who want to stand for what America is, putting America first.
Mhm.
And I feel like if we keep allowing, slowly but surely these things to get into the United States, it's just going to corrupt the whole thing. And I feel like this is a wake up call for a lot of people. I mean, there's a lot of wake up calls. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of things have been happening recently. But I feel like this is another one of those wake up calls. Like, look, if we don't stop this,
Mm.
tyrannical people, it's just going to keep spreading, and we're going to get more and more socialist ideologies that does not work and has been proven not to work in other countries.
Yeah.
Like, if you want socialism so bad across America, go visit a socialist country. Go
Yeah.
visit a communist
See how
country.
great it is.
Like, it sucks. It's
Yeah.
horrible, especially like you go to these third world countries and like their government's corrupt. It's been tyrannical for
Yeah.
years, and like they, you know, just have all these ideologies that suppress their people. And we live such
Hmm.
a free, you know, amazing life here in America, and people just take it for
Yeah.
granted all the time.
Yeah. And it's just, I don't even know the mayor of where we live, but just the fact that it's the mayor of New York makes it super vital in American culture.
Yeah, because like you said, like you go anywhere else in the country, like when we'd serve missions, they're all like, "Bro, have you been to New York?" I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, I haven't been." And that's all they see because all the movies, everything shows it. So if that's a representation of how America is, then it's pretty scary stuff.
Hmm.
And I think a lot of it has to do with Gen Z, like just social media, them like not trusting in anyone or any people. I feel like the trust for the government just keeps going downhill.
Yeah.
Whether it's on the left or the right. I mean, what have you seen that losing people losing faith in their own government?
Mm, I just think I feel people are just tired of people saying promising this but not emphasizing or returning the promise that they gave. Um, I think there people are trying to look for a different source of stability, and so with the case of the mayor, he seems very charismatic, knows how to talk to people. So I think that helped him, especially at this time of people looking for a different leader or a different way to um, find answers to their questions.
Yeah, I totally agree, and like I it's just crazy seeing all these things happening and like where the youth of America, where America is turning to, it just keeps getting divided
Mhm.
and even more divided, right? And that brings me into like the next thing I wanted to talk about
Yeah.
of like culture war and how within the MAGA movement there's been a divide like within the last year since Trump from the time Trump got
Yeah.
elected, everyone was
Mhm.
like pro MAGA, let's get
Mhm.
Trump elected. And then I feel like with certain things that happened, it caused like this other movement to like
Yeah.
separate from the MAGA movement. And they're not socialist, they're not, pushing to the left. But they've like pushed away from MAGA. And I feel like there's a few reasons for that. I mean, watching Trump, I mean, when he going back to before he did say he's going to release the Epstein files,
Yeah.
but I feel like this
No,
whole
it's
movement,
backpedaling
yeah,
a little.
he might be backpedaling. I don't know. Maybe he had a plan the whole time to do this and
Yeah.
like confuse
No, it's
the
true.
Democrats. But like the MAGA movement got divided when during the summer. I don't remember. Don't know if you remember him saying this, but they went up to him like asking him about Epstein files when it's going to be
Oh,
released,
yeah.
and he goes, "What Epstein files? There's no such
Yeah.
thing. It's
It's a
fake news,
democratic hoax.
Democratic
Yeah.
hoax." And I'm like, "Bro, what? You literally ran on this?" And then he like backpedaled, saying he never, it was just a
Yeah.
Democratic hoax and all this thing, all these weird things, and everyone's like, "Is he in there? Who's
Mhm.
buying him? What's going on?" And so that caused this America First movement with like Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, all these like,
Yeah.
all these people, which, they're super far. Well, I feel like there's levels. Nick
No, yeah.
Fuentes is like
There's a
super far
yeah.
right,
It's
crazy.
very intricate.
But I feel like that's what caused that. There was that, and then there after the Charlie Kirk incident, people just not being transparent within the MAGA movement of like,
Mhm.
why can't we ask questions? Attacking Candace, like all these other
Yeah.
guys strategically attacking Candace at any given point of like,
Yeah.
oh, she was wrong about this, so the whole thing's fake. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, she was wrong about one thing, but what about all these other things,
Yeah.
And I feel like that caused this like divide of like, you know, this side is MAGA, this side, and it's like
Mhm.
I don't know. What do you think on all that?
But when you talked about Candace Owens, it reminded me. I saw like a video of this pastor. He's watching one of Candace Owens' videos, and he pauses it and he's like, "See, look, just by how she acts and what she says, she's overcome with the devil because she's going through all these rabbit holes and being distracted of what is right and true." And it's just kind of annoying because she's asking the questions that we all are thinking in our heads, and she's not afraid to present herself and go through any clue that is presented to her, even if maybe it leads to a dead end. And so I guess she's risking her liability or like her sustainability to be like a truthful source because she's wanting to know everything, even like I said, if it leads to rabbit holes.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't agree with everything she said. Like one time I was watching Candace Owens and she was like talking crap on the LDS Church and stuff,
Oh
and saying
yeah.
like, that the church had something to do with Charlie Kirk's murder or
Yeah.
something, which I'm like, that's completely false. And then she dropped it. It was like one episode, a part of an episode, and then she dropped it and hasn't come
Yeah.
back to it. So like things like that. I mean, you kind of got to overlook some things, and I feel like that's with anything. Like you can't fully put your trust into anyone, but they can bring some truths to light or some good questions at
Hmm.
least of like, why did this happen? Why, the assembling of the gun, like all those different things that everyone's asking, but the FBI hasn't explained. No one has explained up until this point, and then them coming out with like new things. I don't know if you watched. Um, the director. So the guy he was standing by Charlie Kirk. He's like his director of security.
Hmm.
Um, they just came out and he talked about how the bullet went through him, and that it like ricocheted in his body.
Oh, okay. Hmm.
but it's kind of weird because like a
It's a little
30-06, I mean a hunting rifle. Like I said, I went hunting. It goes straight through. I don't know if it ricochets through the body. I guess it depends on what kind of bullet you use, but like
Mhm.
I don't know. That seemed weird. And then it seemed I don't know. And then he was blaming UVU too for the lack of security on that roof
Mm.
when he gets paid millions of dollars to protect one guy.
Yeah.
And so it's like there was a lot of weird things that happened, and it's like if it all comes down to it, and it was just a neglect of security, that guy needs to be fired, bro. Like that guy
Yeah.
was horrible. Like
Yeah. If that's all it was, yeah.
because there was like there was a UVU student that came out, and maybe we could play the audio.
Do you think it was last Tuesday or last Wednesday? And recount the first time meeting him and recount the second time meeting what you remember. Do you remember like what time of day it was?
Mid-afternoon, like, um, yeah, I guess I don't remember the exact day. I know at least the second time was last week, either Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah. So last Tuesday and Wednesday, but they were on separate days.
They were separate days.
Okay.
It may have been both last week, Tuesday and Wednesday. One of them might have been like the week before Thursday or something. But, yeah, like I said, it wasn't memorable and or significant enough at the moment for me to
Yeah.
really remember.
What did he look like?
Skinny, tallish white guy. Had a like baseball cap on or some kind of hat, I think. Had a backpack.
Okay.
Dark hair, I think.
Dark hair. Was he dressed in like dark clothing? Do you remember?
Yeah, he was.
He was. Okay. Was it like black or
Something dark.
was it similar to what was seen in the pictures?
Yeah, for sure. And that's kind of why I thought of that when I saw the pictures.
Okay.
I guess I don't think I'd remember enough to really definitively say that the guy I saw is the guy in the pictures.
Right.
I just know I saw a guy wandering around on the roof, and the guy that I saw in the pictures looks similar.
But it was the same roof of the same building.
Yes. Well, I don't know exactly because it's the computer science building has this long concourse that connects to the Lazie Center.
Yeah.
My bet would be that that's how the shooter got onto the Lazie Center roof because that's one of the few ways I know of. I guess there's also a ladder on the other side.
As in, that's how he got on yesterday or last week?
Oh, well, last time I saw it and he came off of there.
Okay,
but-
and you said he like jumped over the fence?
Yeah, there's kind of a railing around. There's this like concourse sticking out from the CS building that people are actually supposed to be allowed to walk on.
Okay.
And he walked over that railing and started wandering around the ledge.
Oh, okay. And facing which way?
He was totally looking out in the direction of like that fountain courtyard and out this way. The first time I thought it was a little weird, but didn't think much of it. Decided not to say anything, especially because another guy walked back. I think he was a professor. I know I've seen him around a lot more. And he comes from below and he shouts up at the guy. He asks like, "Are you okay?" The guy up there says, "Yeah, I'm doing fine." And the professor says, "Okay," and walks away. And I kept walking because I had work to do. I didn't really.
And that was the first or second time?
That was the first time.
And then what about the second time?
The second time I saw him do the same thing. He hopped the railing, started wandering around.
Was he dressed in the same clothing?
Similar.
Okay.
I don't remember enough to say whether it was
And it was
same.
the same guy?
It was definitely the same guy those two times.
In that video, Candace Owens showed it yesterday, I think, but they're getting interviewed, and it got like buried underneath all the
Mhm.
news that was happening right after the Charlie Kirk thing. But he said 2 weeks before the incident, he saw a guy up on the roof twice, just like checking
same
out,
guy.
like the
Okay.
same guy checking it out. A teacher even talked to him, was like, "Hey, like, bro, what are you doing up there?" And he's like, "Oh, nothing. I'm okay. I'm doing good."
Mhm.
But it was like, because apparently on the that building, you can go up on the roof, which I didn't know. Like students can go up on the roof,
Yeah.
but there's a gate to where they can't get close to like where he was.
Mm.
But he hopped it.
Yeah.
Obviously, went over there. But who knows?
Yeah.
just a lot of weird stuff. So it's good for her to ask questions and keep digging up these things that we would never know. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and it just goes to show that in all, just with everything we know about history and stuff, there's always like a bigger scale and there's just a bunch of different factors going into one event. And so it is important that we get all sides of the story and come up with a conclusion.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I think the MAGA movement and the America First movement is getting so divided within the conservative movement. Is because there's people in the MAGA movement attacking the America First movement for just asking questions about Charlie Kirk.
Mhm.
Like, oh, this seems a little sus. These people seemed a little sus. This
Yeah.
government seemed a little sus. You know what I mean? Like, why were these, like, Candace Owens talks about how there was like Egyptian planes or something, or like,
Yeah.
and that they rented these cars in Provo. You know, all these different things that are like, okay, seem a little sus. Why don't we look into it? And then the MAGA, you know, movement, all these different players are like, well, Candace Owens said this, so she's a liar and she's
Yeah.
fake, and it's like, they're like strategically attacking them, and it's like it's just like the left does, and I think that's why the America First movement is like,
Mhm.
that's weird, because that's exactly what the left does. They all gang up and they're like, this person said this, so he's a liar. I'm like, why is the MAGA movement doing this to, you know, all these people that were technically a part of the same group, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, maybe you have a different opinion, but I feel like the left has been pretty quiet.
Oh.
Like, I guess maybe it's just my feed. I only really get
That's
a
true.
lot of right wing stuff, but I haven't really heard a lot of stuff coming from them, especially with the Charlie Kirk stuff.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I do get like, you know, anti Charlie Kirk stuff, or like
Yeah.
making fun of it and crap, which is just disrespectful. But that's the only thing I like. I don't see any big pushes
Yeah.
or movements.
Or like AOC saying something crazy about Trump, or like, I just really haven't.
Yeah, really recently I haven't heard much. I mean, it might be because of the Epstein files. Everyone's going
Yeah.
quiet because that's about to. Something's about. I feel like something's about to happen. Something's cooking, and it's gonna happen within the next couple of weeks. I'm calling it right now. Something with the Epstein files,
Yeah.
everything going on within before the end of the year. Something weird is gonna happen. Something crazy is gonna happen. I'm calling it right now. There's a lot of weird stuff, a lot of weird players with the Epstein files that they just all of a sudden unanimously, besides one guy, vote to
Vote
release
to,
it.
yeah.
Like something weird is happening.
Well,
Like
yeah, because it does raise the question, because I mean, over the past 15 years, the House has always been 50-50. And now with something like this, it's 400 something to 1.
yeah.
Like,
Well, and not even that. It's been such a like, no, we're not releasing it. It's
Yeah.
a Democratic hoax. We're
Yeah.
not doing this. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, let's
now
release
let's
it.
do it.
I mean, and there was all the conspiracies of like, did you hear about Donald Trump and Bill Clinton?
Yeah, we kind of talked about that. Yeah.
Just weird conspiracies started happening, and then all of a sudden they, you know, unanimously vote for it.
Yeah.
Well, almost unanimously.
That remind I saw a video yesterday. Oh, it was like people are selling stuff at Epstein's house, and there's this painting of Bill Clinton in like a dress sitting on a chair. I don't know if you've seen
I've
that
seen
picture,
that before, yeah.
but just like that's so weird.
Oh,
Like,
there's even
what
weirder.
the heck?
There's even weirder stuff, man. There's one with, which I think it's true. I could be wrong. I've just seen like those type of videos where they're like, oh, they're selling this. There's one with George Bush.
With the paper airplanes and the
Paper
Jenga
airplanes and
towers.
the 2 Jenga
Yeah.
towers. I'm like, that.
That's
Just
crazy.
weird stuff. Yeah, I mean, there's just been a lot of weird Epstein stuff that's come out. I mean, and I don't know. For them to, I'm just saying it right now, for them to be releasing it after all this drama, after all this stuff, there's
Yeah.
some players that are doing stuff. I feel like not all of it's going to come out. I mean, and I feel like it's always, anytime they're like, oh, we're releasing something with the Epstein files, it's all conspiracy and nothing happens, or it's like some like hoax. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like, I don't know. I feel like not much will come of it, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I feel like something big is going to happen before the end of the year. But I'm
Yeah.
just calling it right now.
Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they just show the list of people who went there that are already dead.
Yeah,
They're like, oh,
or like
Stephen
low
Hawking, or yeah, just low level people.
level, like random. Like no one huge.
Yeah, no, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
Yeah, and I feel like that's just going to cause like more of a divide within America. I feel like that's a lot of politicians want is like America to be to be divided, and that's why they took out Charlie Kirk was because he was more of like as much as they're trying to paint him as this divider. I mean, and he did say some things, get clickbait or whatever. I'll be
Yeah,
honest, like some of the things I'm like, oh, that's funny.
yeah,
But he would actually talk to people and have the guts to go on college campuses and debate. Would like I was just watching a video where like for over an hour he's just debating college woke students, like liberals. I don't know if you've seen that. It's like over 20 college students, and they all debated, just him versus
Yeah.
all of them, and it was.
Oh yeah,
crazy.
the Jubilee. Yeah,
Yeah. And I'm like, wow, like, and he stood his ground.
yeah.
I mean, some of it, okay, there was one that he did get kind of taken over on, that I will say he kind of lost. And it was about God and who God is and gender. So he was saying that he was
Oh,
talking
I think
about
I remember
gender
this one. Yeah.
and how it like a man can't be a woman or something like that, transgenderism. Anyways, so he goes into it, and this guy comes up and asks him, he's like, well, what gender is God then?
Yeah.
Like if God isn't, and with the Church of Jesus Christ, we
Yeah.
believe we were
But
created
with
in
his,
His image,
with his
right?
beliefs, yeah.
But with evangelicals, they believe that God is just an all-knowing
Yeah.
being.
It's a
or
presence.
not even a being. It's undescribable. The way
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk said it, it's like it's indescribable. You
Yeah.
can't even fathom, like our brains can't even fathom what it is. Which we believe, yes, he is all powerful, he is all knowing, he is God. But we were created in his image, as it says in the Bible, we were created in his image. And so that's where in that debate where, he just kind of loses traction on, describing what God is, if he has a gender, because it's God the Father, that's how people refer to him. And so the guy that was debating him was like, well, why do you refer to him as that? Does he have a gender? Is
if he's the father, then
it's like, but we believe
it's true.
we were created in his image. He's got a body.
Yeah.
He's got flesh and bone like us. He is. We were created in his image, just like him.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Anyways, that's side topic to what we were talking about, but it just brings up the point of like, going back to Epstein, America First and MAGA are getting divided. Epstein files are going to be crazy. That'll be interesting to see what comes out of that.
That's true.
Yeah, with all the craziness, I did want to, kind of talk about, just bring it back to like spiritual, where during all of this chaos, I feel like that's something we always do is, as members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, where do we stand? Where do we go with knowing all of this? We have agency. We have the choice to, everyone has agency. They have the choice to do good or evil.
Yeah.
And how do we as Latter-day Saints stand on truth when people are using we just watch people using their agency to do all these bad things,
Yeah.
And how, the world's kind of going through these, different pride cycles and stuff. I mean, as you see it, where do we stand as Latter-day Saints with, socialists getting elected, like everything we talked about today, all the craziness going on, as Latter-day Saints, as Gen Z Latter-day Saints, in college and high school, where do we stand? Where do we go?
I think it's important at this time that we, everyone knows President Nelson's motto is to be peacemakers, is to reject the notion and all of the propaganda and the rhetoric of people wanting to split us apart. People, even if we disagree, right? And when you kind of going back to with Charlie Kirk, he was trying to also fight that rhetoric as well with making that bond between people that he disagreed with and trying to find common ground. And also with the Savior Jesus Christ, he came to help those who may have misinterpreted um, the Old Testament and the Bible and tried to lead them towards what was actually true. And just like, I'm not comparing Charlie Kirk to Jesus, but just like both of those actions, it is important that we do find that common ground and we just be peacemakers.
Yeah, I feel like there's a huge lack of that in today's world. When you look at, people and how they interact with each other, and
Mm-hmm.
when they disagree with people, it's, they say the most vile, disgusting things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that really brings up the point with what you said. A lot of what you said, perfect. And I think like one of the main things is with, having a purpose in life. I feel like that's what the gospel brings. That's what Jesus gives us. And I feel like a lot of you today, young men, young women, but especially like talking to the young men, if you don't have a purpose in life, that's where you slip into like, you feel sad, you slip into like a depressed state because you don't have a purpose in life. God put us here to have a purpose. And Jesus Christ came to fulfill a purpose. Everything
Yeah.
has a purpose. And especially as men, like we thrive on accomplishing things, on
Mm-hmm.
overcoming challenges, on building something, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have that purpose in life, that's where people get lost and that's where people get sad
Mm-hmm.
and angry. And then they push that anger out into the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? But people with a purpose, people with drive, people who,
Yeah.
do the small things. It's not like you have to be this big influencer like Charlie Kirk was, or
Yeah.
like, you know,
Andrew
be
Tate.
like an Andrew Tate, right? You can be a humble man who goes and serves the Lord each day,
Mm-hmm.
finds a way to serve Him, and go to the gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important. Go to the gym,
Yeah.
read scriptures, do the things you're supposed to be doing. If you're in college, go do that. If you have work, go do that, and provide and work up to. If you're single, work up to be someone that someday, some chick is gonna, some young woman
Yeah.
is gonna want to be around, right? I feel like marriages have gone down a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
this all has to do with men having a purpose and losing that purpose. As you have purpose and you have a drive to do something,
Mm-hmm.
then that brings people into your life that will benefit you, because as you push positivity out, as you push you know that you can accomplish things and you can provide for people, then they'll come into your life and provide for you as well. But if you can't do that for yourself, how are you going to
Yeah.
bring someone else in, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so it all starts with just doing the simple things, having a purpose in life. Each day, what are you going to do? Go to the gym. Go, like I'll emphasize that. Go to the gym, read
Yeah.
your scriptures, get the things you need to be getting done so that later in life, you can be a provider, because that's the greatest joy. I mean, I'm not married,
Mm-hmm.
but that's the greatest joy. And that's what God teaches is, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ teaches is, having a family. The family is essential to God's plan. And it all comes from having a drive and having a purpose as a man.
Yeah. And going along with that, kind of reminds me of in one of my psychology classes, the three things that give men purpose and drive. It's called the three P's: preside, provide, and protect. Right. And so, what you're saying is each and every day, I feel we can make a goal of saying, what am I presiding over today? What am I providing for? And what am I protecting? For example, presiding, you could preside over your house, by cleaning your room today. You can provide for your education by doing some homework that you do or studying for a test that's the next week. And then protect, oh, I want to protect my body, let me go to the gym. So just finding those little motivators each and every day will ultimately build you up as a man and help you fulfill those three P's in a bigger aspect, which is family and being a husband and being eventually a church leader and career wise as well.
Yeah, and I think we want to invite all youth, anyone watching this, or not even youth, just anyone watching this, because even when you get older, you can fall.
Mm-hmm.
No one's perfect. I've never not been perfect at this at
Yeah.
all.
No,
But
yeah.
as we strive to do this, as we push ourselves, the Lord will bless us. And so we want to invite you within this next week, find ways that you can, you know, provide for people, like Josh was saying, provide. What was it?
Preside and protect.
Preside, provide, and protect. I love that. That's like perfect and amazing, and something that all men need to do and need to stand up and you know stand up for what you believe. Be disciples of Jesus Christ in all things that you do, and that includes just your everyday
Mm-hmm.
life. Because if you by small and simple things, great things come to pass, and that includes just what you're doing every minute of every day,
Yeah. No, and going along with that, it is important to know that you are desired by God, and He gives us these things that are naturally built in our mind so that we can fulfill the measure of creation and become like Him. It's crazy to me that we can one day we have the potential to become like God. And in my anatomy class I'm taking this semester, just looking at the human body, it's honestly built my testimony that there is a God that created something so perfect that can work and adapt in any environment. It's unfathomable to me. There's no way that some random coincidence created us, because even the small things like breathing and heart rate and um, temperature control, it's impossible that something that isn't God could create that.
yeah. And I'd just like to bear my testimony that you know I know that as we do these by small and simple things, great things come to pass, and as we strive each day to do these little things, the Lord will bless our efforts, even if you aren't,
Mm-hmm.
even if you aren't a member, like the Lord will bless all the efforts that you give and all the efforts that you put into each and every day. So we want to
Mm-hmm.
invite everyone to, put the put the efforts in, do the little things each day, um, that'll build you up to one day be a provider for a family, or even if you are right now, just be a better person, be a better husband, be a better brother, be a better son in all aspects of your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and kind of reminds me of the scripture. I believe it's somewhere in John, but and it's the only story about Jesus that's mentioned. It's only in John. It's not in the other three gospels, and it's um, Jesus is invited to a wedding, and they run out of wine, and miraculously Jesus turns water into wine. Now, why would John put that in if none of the other writers put that story in? I think it's because John is trying to teach us a lesson that as long as we are giving ourselves, which is the water, Jesus can turn it into wine. And the groom even said that wine was the best wine out of all the wine. And he was complaining, saying, "Why didn't you guys give this wine at the beginning of the wedding?" And so it symbolizes that no matter where we are spiritually, physically, mentally, if we allow ourselves to give our heart to Christ, he can turn us perfect, and he can help us fill our measure of creation. And he wants us to. He literally says in the scriptures, prove me herewith. Prove him that he can change you. And I promise you that he can.
And just want to bear testimony that this church is true and say these things in Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen.